Hey world, it's Ben Willie coming back 2 times. Coming back with another video. Title of this video, family, was 3 things that we have to do, but they don't. I mean, it's a travesty. And what are these 3 things? Things that we forced to do. You did? Now remember, Congress makes the laws. So they can make laws, they can appeal laws, they can do all these things with the legal system, with the laws around this country at a drop of, at a stroke of a pen. I mean, let's go back to income tax. I mean, how is it that we have to pay income tax? And if you don't know what income tax is,
30 miles per hour.
That's the monies that they taxing on your labor. Twice. I mean, they have a marginal tax bracket where you have to be put in a percentage bracket. So if you're making less than $10,000, you don't even pay taxes. If you're making like over $10,000, you're like in a 10 or 15% tax bracket. You're making like $50,000 or more, you're in what they call a 20% bracket, and then it goes all the way up to like 37.8%. And they're even talking about raising it to like 40-something% of your salary at the end of the year that you have to pay in taxes.
The speed limit is 30 miles per hour.
Sorry about that, family. I don't know what this is about. 30 miles per hour. I'm going 35. Chill out, chick. But I digress. So when you know the system, you don't have to pay income tax. And what I mean by know the system, the ultra rich, these multimillionaires, these people that own their own businesses, guess what? They can only pay themselves $100 a year or $1 a year, and they don't have to pay any income tax. All the assets, all the purchases made, it could be a business expense. So right along, there's a loophole in the system that Congress knows about, but don't do anything about it, because these cats go in Congress as thousandaires and leave multimillionaires. And how is it possible? Okay, so we have to pay income tax, but the rich don't. And so, I mean, it's so crazy that they'll throw it in our face. I don't know if you remember a while back, Warren Buffett was allegedly pissed off about the tax code because his secretary pays more taxes than he does. Well, you know what, dude? That's on you. Because if you wanted to give yourself a $20 or $30 million a year salary, then you would have to pay income tax. But you don't do that because your company pays all your expenses. But you pay your secretary $100,000 a year. Of course, you're going to have to pay a lot in taxes. You don't come off as Robin Hood. You're not coming off as somebody, sincere. All you guys that are multimillionaires that own your own companies that only pay yourself a minimum salary so you don't have to pay income tax. I mean, you just, you work in the system. And like I said, you can't hate because this is what Congress does. So that's the first thing. And remember, income tax was only supposed to last for a little while. They only started it because, during time of war to pay for war expenses. So if Congress wanted to end income tax today, they could. I mean, because they tax us on everything anyway. So that's why I'm saying this is modern day slavery under the guise of patriotism. That's crazy. Why are you having to pay taxes on your labor? It doesn't make sense. When we pay taxes on everything else, you pay taxes on purchases. In some of these states, you have state and local taxes. You have car taxes under the guise of registration, inspections, car insurance. Those are all taxes. Not to mention inflation. When the government can say, okay, hey, we're gonna put this much money in the economy, and so this is gonna raise the interest rates and gonna raise inflation on prices of goods and services. That's a tax. Over 300 million people paying these taxes, and they talking about we're in a deficit or got a $30 trillion debt. Come on, man, that don't make sense. So the first thing that we have to do that they don't have to do is we have to pay income tax. The second thing they made us do that they don't have to do, and you can blame your first black president for this one, allegedly, Obamacare. How you gonna force somebody to pay for insurance when they don't want it. How you gonna do that? And if you don't have it, you get fined. So that's another tax. And the insurance ain't nothing. It's crap. It's not covering the things that you want covered. But remember, Congress, they have the best insurance plans. They have the best life insurance plans. Remember, they make like $178,000 a year and don't have to pay for their homes, their cars. They fly all around in private jets. They get the dibs on all these companies that come out. Remember, pharmaceutical companies, health industry, the car industry, they can decide what laws and what companies can get bailed out. And you guess what? And when they come bailing out these companies, you don't think them boys getting a piece of the pie? Like I say, they go in as thousandaires and come out as millionaires. That's not by accident. And so they have the best health care. We don't. But then you have illegal immigrants come to this country and get Medicaid, get dental, all of that. But people that are in America that's working, one, they got the income tax, so they're taking all the money out of your federal, the FICA, taking all the money out of your check for that. So how can you afford health insurance? Two, they don't make these multi-billion-dollar companies provide 100% full coverage insurance for their employees when the owners have it. So Congress, two, the second thing, Obamacare. Y'all gonna make people get Obamacare. And they just say Obamacare, but it's really cheap-ass health insurance. And if you don't get it, they fine you. Things that we have to do, but they don't. And the third thing is this vaccine. How you gonna make us get vaccinated, but Congress and their staff members are exempt from it? Come on, man. And even though they go on the television, in front of a camera, with these fake-ass nurses and doctors giving them vaccination shots, they don't even have to. But you're gonna force Americans to get a vaccine, and if they don't get a vaccine, they lose their livelihood. But Congress, you ain't losing your livelihood. What kind of mess is that? All right? So 3 things, family, that we have to do that they don't. We have to pay income tax. When the multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires that own these companies, they don't have to, because they don't have to pay themselves a salary, which is income. Second, you force us to get this cheap-ass health insurance called Obamacare and put that in a law. Can you believe that? But they don't have to, because they have the best healthcare system, best healthcare plans in the world. See the best doctors, eat the best food, drink the best water. Here we got us having to go to H-E-B and Walmart to buy food that's old, GMO, artificially flavored, artificially sweetened, and then wonder why high blood pressure and diabetes is running rampant. And I'm telling you right now, family, that's also a scam. Because remember, the pharmaceutical companies are the one that perpetuate diabetes, high blood pressure, okay, cancers. Because isn't it mighty ironic that you don't really get really sick until you start taking the medication for something that's supposed to heal you? And doctors, remember, doctors don't heal you. They just give you prescriptions. That's all they do. And so why would you put your faith in a doctor when all they're doing is giving you a prescription to medications that make you feel worse than when you walked in there? Think about how many people go to the doctor and get diagnosed as having cancer, going and feeling great. But as soon as they start taking the medications, the chemotherapy and all that, the body breaks down. You know why? Because it's a chemical reaction. These are chemicals that they put in your body. High blood pressure. Why are you giving people high blood pressure medications when you don't, advocate healthy eating, exercising? I mean, the last thing you should want to give a person with high blood pressure is medication that's going to exacerbate the situation. Because they keep me on a slow drip, family. Think about all these congressmen and senators living to their 80s and 90s, hundreds, because they not taking that stuff. Everything they taking is healthy to keep them living longer. We're the only ones that's falling for the banana in the tailpipe. They got the best health care. And then, of course, the third thing is vaccines. So income tax, Obamacare, and the vaccine. But you never had a vaccine, a universal vaccine for HIV, the HIV virus. You know, what happened to that? What happened to that? You know what I mean? So if I do want to come back with a little food for thought, because I just think it's interesting that as a nation, we can't see that the Congress and the people that so-called make the laws does not have your best interests at heart at all. But they finna write a bill right now, or actually done wrote the bill, done passed the bill for $1.5 trillion. And remember, family, they want $10 trillion. They just nipping at the bud right now. That's why they're going 1.5 trillion now. Then they're gonna try to get another 2 trillion and right under the people's noses. And then on a low key tip, give illegal immigrants $450,000. And we just had Veterans Day, and they say they love the veterans. Everybody out there with camouflage on, all this kind of stuff. But 20% of veterans commit suicide. A large percentage of veterans are homeless on the streets. And not to mention our young brothers and sisters that come back over here from the fake Iraq war, the fake Afghanistan war, the fake Middle East. I don't know what Middle East is when that's actually Africa. You know, debilitated, amputated, and have no love. But they asking, if you watch the Tell a Lie Vision, they asking us to send donations to Wounded Warriors and all these different non-profit organizations. They want us, the people, to send donations to help the veterans when they don't wrote a blank check for the United States by putting their lives in danger, risking their lives to come back over here and not get the love from the government. And these same congressmen, I promise you, their sons and daughters not going to war like that. All their sons and daughters are doing running for Congress and senator and just taking up their seats. Keeping it a generational situation. Pay yourself first, family. Well, family, in the meantime, between time, may the Most High inside of you bring you joy. Being without here turning corners. And I'm out of 5,000.